Hi everybody, Personalizing Google for your classroom. We're going to work on extensions today, so extending your browser. First thing I'm going to do is share my screen so we're set to go, and we'll be set. We're going to go right into Google. Not going to really use much of Google today, more we're going to use the Chrome browser, so it should be pretty easy. We're just going to go along. We're going to go through what an extension is, know the difference between Chrome and Google because that will be very important today. How to install an extension, how to uninstall an extension. We're going to go through some extensions, and then hopefully you're going to leave with a list of what you can use in your own classroom. So these extensions that I am going to show you today are basically ones that I feel are going to be ones that most teachers will want, or some version of it with your class, but you can make that decision up as we go along. So what is Chrome? That's always a big conversation. So Chrome is this little icon down here, but it's important to understand that Chrome is a browser. Chrome, the browser, was built by Google, the corporation, in order to use Google, the website, which leads us to Google Apps for Education. So it's kind of like this trail. Google came first, like who came first, the chicken or the egg, Chrome or Google? In actuality, Google, the website, came before Chrome, the browser. Google was always been a search engine, but before Google we had search engines like Netscape and Yahoo, and Yahoo is still a search engine, but it's not used as much as Google is. And if you've been around long enough, you remember using Yahoo when they first went to the concept of foldering, and then you came to Google and you could use Boolean searching, and you could search a lot more discreetly, well, not discreetly is not the right word, more focused on what you were looking for, so that was really helpful. So Google decided that they would build a browser that would allow you to use Google more effectively and efficiently, and they called it Chrome. There are lots of other browsers. Other browsers include, you can see on my screen down here, I do have Firefox, and if I went over here, you would find that I do also have Bing. I also have Edge. There are things on a Mac like Safari. There's also Opera. There's lots and lots of search engines out there. Lots of browsers that you can use that allow you to search. But a browser just gives you access to the internet. But the reason we talk about Chrome is because Chrome is the browser that we are going to use that is going to give us the most functionality with Google. And when we talk about extensions, we're talking about extensions that can only be installed within Chrome. So, pretty detailed, but that once you understand that Chrome is the browser that will give us the most functionality within Google, that makes sense. So basically, Google allows these third parties to create a set of tools that actually extend the functionality and the features of both Chrome, the browser, and Google, the website. So they have multiples. The ones we're going to talk about today are extensions. They also have add-ons. Add-ons get added right into the Google Apps. Extensions get added to the browser, and they come right up here into, they come up here into your Chrome Omnibar. So I'm going to just move a couple things out of the way so that'll help so we stay away from some of those things. So they get installed up here. So really, to be totally honest, extensions and add-ons do basically the same thing. They provide extended features. They are a tool that we can use, and they're basically mini programs that are not built into these products by default. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about these extensions. They come in all different flavors and sizes, but what are they really? So what is an extension? So an extension is a smaller helper tool that gives us more features within Chrome, and you can see this is where they are for me, and I have lots. And that's an understatement. I have been called a extension addict, and I am pretty happy with that title. I do like them because anything that makes my job easier and more efficient is a tool that I want to have. So how do I install an extension? So I would open a new tab, and I would come up here and I would go to chrome.google.com web store. So extensions come through the web store, always. So you notice that we have two options. We have extensions and we have themes. So the next question that I get from a lot of people is there a way that you can globally install extensions? And yes, there is. They can be pushed through the Chrome management on the Google admin console. So your Google admin can push out extensions to students. I think that's a really great way to make, basically you're creating your own web store for your district. That is a great way. It's not always the best idea to give students full access into the web store because they will put on things you probably don't want on their computers or on their Chromebooks or in their Google accounts. But it's important that they do have access to some of these tools because they will make their lives much easier. You notice you're seeing some go by that I've installed. LastPass was the last one that just went through. LastPass allows me to keep track of my passwords because I have so many, and I use that on this device alone. So where are they installed? So now we have what they are. We know they're a tool. How they're installed, they're installed through this web store. They can be pushed out. So where do they get installed? Right here at the end of your Omni bar, your Omni box. They'll come up here, and you can see I have some that are grayed out. That means right now they are not active. So they're not being used at this point. And what devices can they be installed at? They can be installed on any kind of PC, so laptop or desktop, any Mac, and any Chromebook that is running a Chrome browser. And when I say, I don't mean Chromebook running a Chrome browser. I say a Mac or a PC or a laptop running a Chrome browser. They do not work on tablets or devices. You can't get that functionality because that would be like an app inside of an app. So they want to be what we consider to be a hardwired device, so a laptop, a desktop, a Chromebook. Even though a Chromebook isn't hardwired, it is that functionality. It's not using the app process. So how do you use an extension? Well, the easiest way is you just come up and you click on it. That's pretty simple. So if I click on this one, just for an example, that is one called One Tab. We're going to go through that in a minute. All I have to do is click on it to be able to use it. So where can they typically be used? They typically will run on any web page in Chrome. There are some that are very specific with what they do. So they don't all run on a web page. Some of them run within Google Docs. Some of them run and make your web pages or your sites do something. Some of them only function within Google. So can they be disabled? They absolutely can. So if I come up here and I decide that I want to disable this app right here with my Cisco WebEx, excuse me, I can right-click on the app and I can manage extensions, and then it takes me into my settings, and I can go in here and I can turn things on or turn things off. So that's one way to do it. I typically have a much quicker way to go through it, and I'm going to show you that using an extension manager, which is an extension. So yes, I have an extension for my extensions. I'm not proud to say it, but I do. It's pretty easy to use. I like it because it has less clicks and it's easier to see what I have on and off. Can I remove extensions? Absolutely, the same exact way. I can right-click on the extension icon. So if I come here, and you see there is one that says remove from Chrome. So removing extensions, why would you want to do that? Sometimes you add an extension and all of a sudden Chrome starts to act a little wonky. So sometimes it's good to go through, and if that happens, you may want to go backwards and see when you install that extension and turn it off. Usually that's the best feature, and not just disable it, excuse me, but you may want to remove it from Chrome. That is the best thing to do. And since these are third-party apps, there has been conversation, especially within the Twitter sphere, that's hard to say, lately about third-party apps taking demographics from you. I don't put demographics into components, but taking information from you. So there is a privacy concern. That's why districts are pretty careful about what they allow students to get and not get. A really great place to go to find information about extensions is to use Common Sense Media. They have a privacy component that you can go, if you just look up Common Sense Media privacy settings or privacy concerns, it will take you to a separate part within Common Sense Media that will allow you to check privacy issues, and they rate out the tools that people use. Anything with a rating of 9 stars or more is a very good tool and should be safe to use. Typically, I do some research before I add extensions, or I take them from other people, as in I take recommendations from other people. So, do Chrome extensions use resources? They absolutely do. They will use memory and resources whenever Chrome is open. So I've had people tell me that, wow, you have a lot of extensions. And I say, wow, yes, I do. And they say, well, doesn't Chrome run really slow for you? And I'm like, nope, not really. And when you see how many I actually have, you won't be shocked that I only have about 15 showing up right now, because I probably have about 75 Chrome extensions installed. Can I use them on multiple devices? Absolutely. They are automatically installed whenever I log into the Chrome web browser on any computer through a setting. So this is why I like it the best, because I can come right over here into my settings, and once I'm logged in here, you notice that I have everything synced. So all my extensions are synced. So if I go into a district to do training and I log into the Chrome browser with my kvirginiabond@gmail.com, all of my bookmarks and all of my extensions come onto that computer. Then all I have to do is log out of that when I leave. So that's logging out of Chrome, not logging out of Google. We have covered that in another session. So when you log into a Chromebook, you automatically are logged into Chrome and to Google. When I log into a device that is not a Chromebook, there are 2 separate logins. I need to log into Chrome to get my extensions and my bookmarks, and then I need to log into Google to have access to my Google domain. I hope that makes sense. That's usually the hardest part. Now, I log in and out of my Google domains back and forth all day long. I never log out of Google Chrome, so these settings are all set to my K Virginia Bond. But I can use them with my NARIC account. I can use them with another account. I can use them with an NAC account. I can use it with any school that I have a Google account with. My Chrome settings are just pulling my extensions and my bookmarks down. So I already showed you how to get them, so that's pretty easy. So let's start the fun part of actually using some of these Chrome extensions. So we're going to go through, I probably have 15 to 20 in here that I use a lot, and they are actually all in a document. I'll show you the document so you can see it. It's the extensions one as we go into it. It's called Extend Your Chrome Browser. As I've started down this road of extensions, and it has been a road, I did get a lot at my first 2 years of going to Google Summits, listening to other trainers talk about ones that they use. I think that's a great way. I also have gotten some from Google Teacher Tribe, done by Casey Bell and Matt Miller, from Ditch That Textbook. Casey Bell is from Shake Up Learning. They are great ways to hear what other people are using and hear the ways that other people are using them. I think that is just an awesome component. Understanding how somebody can use it makes a huge difference. So these are the ones that I'm going to show you today. I'm going to kind of show you a list of what I have and don't have, and you can kind of make a decision. So I always like to start with this one, even though it's not on my list. This is Pinterest. So I can't pin from Google. I'm shocked that I can't pin from Google. But if I come out and I'm just going to go to, let's see, where could I go? That would be a really great place. Let's go to Google Maps. Let's just go to Maps. Okay? And you notice that that will turn red. So I can add a map into someplace. So Pinterest, the reason I bring this up is because Pinterest is really one of the first people, one of the first corporations that came across this concept of creating this extension. At the time, they called them add-ons, that you could add into your browser that would allow you to pin something from anywhere. It was a while back. I'm not saying it was the first company, but I'm thinking it was with teachers. It was one of the first companies that was the most popular because teachers were using Pinterest, and then they could put this little button up into their browser, and I think I used it, quite honestly, the first time in Internet Explorer and Mozilla Firefox. They could put it up into their browser, and then they could find something that they wanted to save, and they could click a button, and it would save right to their Pinterest boards. So that's why I always leave it up there, because I feel like some teachers have used this for a long time and didn't realize that it was really called an extension. So that is some of the first ones that have come through. So my extensions are actually up here in the order of which I use them. So we're going to go through them in that order. So the first one is a URL shortener. So if I go back to this list, you will notice that I have your URL shortener. Boy, that's hard to say. Bit.ly or goo.gl. Well, goo.gl no longer is being supported by Google. They decided to walk away from that shortener, much to the chagrin of many, many people. Many people like Goo because it was an easy one to use, and there was a shortener up here that you could just click. That is gone. So what Google has done is they have, I'm going to go back into Drive for just a minute, and I'm going to come back out into this presentation. I'm going to get a shortened, I'm going to go in here and get a link. So if I get this right here, I can go into my share settings, and I can get a link for this whole folder. And you notice it's right here. So I get a shareable link. I can copy the link. So the problem with this is that this link is crazy long. So if I put it up in here into this long component, there's no way that any student will ever be able to type that address out. It's way too long. We know that. So we have to come up with some solution to get these components out quicker to our students. So a URL shortener is one way to go. So the one that I started to use once goo.gl was no longer available to me is Bit.ly. So I've gone to the new site here, and I click Bit.ly, and it will open a sidebar over here. So a few things I really like about this now is that I have created my Bit.ly account with my kvirginiabond@gmail.com. So I use my Google account to create a Bit.ly account. So I can just copy this URL right here, which is 2U1UQHN. I can share right from here. What I really like now is that I can customize. So I can call this PG, so I'm going to click in here, I'm going to back that up, PGYC _extensions. So when you get this, it will have a better naming system, and you'll notice that it changes. So I edited the bit link, and now I can just copy that, and I can put it in here. So what would one of the reasons be to actually do this? And the reason is because when you do presentations, it's much easier for students to be able to put one of these components to type it in. So there it is. There's my Bit.ly. so much easier for people to type. When I go to presentations and I want to share something, that's what I want to share with them, that bit.ly. So someone could come up here, and you might actually have to type in the HTTP. Let's see what happens. So we're going to just type in, there's the bit.ly, and it takes me right to the presentation. Students are more likely to be able to get to bit.ly/PGYC_extensions, and I made it pretty long, but I don't have to. Teachers are more likely to type it correctly. This case specific, and you notice I went to all the word cases. That's why the 2U, 1U, Q, capital H, N, well, it's shorter, maybe harder for people to get to. So this is just a shortcut. And I can be anywhere to get one of these made. I just really like this. So for me, that's a winner. I'm going to use that all the time. So always going to use a URL shortener. The next one is save to Google Drive. So there have been a lot of times in people's lives they want to save something to Google Drive. So they're out in the real world and they want to create something. They want to be able to take one of these components and they want to just say, okay, maybe there's an article, and they want to save with students. So diving kids could be, and it does, we're going to talk about this in a minute. I am using an ad blocker. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about why in a minute. So here's an article, and I really don't want to watch this. I need to go back because I grabbed an audio article. I'm so sorry. I need to have an actual text article to be able to show you this. Sorry. So, let's see. Here's one right here. More risk. Hard-working women face more risk for this disease. So I like this article. Let's say I want to save it. I'm going to click Save to Google Drive. And what it's going to do is going to go through and it's going to automatically save this article to my drive. So this takes a little bit of setup, only that you have to approve it to go to your Google Drive. You have to pick which Google Drive, but it's pretty simple, and I'm hoping it doesn't stop. This one has given me a little bit of functionality issues lately, but it's easy to use. What are some of the benefits of doing this? Well, one of them is this. You're out doing research, and you find something you want to get, and automatically it goes. So you notice what it did. It saved it, was saved to Google Drive. It was saved right to my drive. I can change it, so I can change that destination. I just wanted to go to my drive, and you have options of how you can save it. So I have it set to save it as Google Doc always, because that's the way I want it. It just seems to make more sense to me. So if I come back over here, I didn't go save done because I don't need that anymore. I go back to my drive, and I just type in the word hard. Hopefully, yeah, there it is. Hard-working women go home earlier to avoid this. And there's the article that came out of CNN. A really nice component. Another nice place to think about this is you are out on the Engage New York site and you find a document that you want to use. So you go and you save it. Sometimes you can't always find those again because they move. So what this does, this is a long article, 22 pages long. We will actually clean this up in a few minutes, and you can see we're going to use another extension to clean this up, make this a little tighter so it doesn't have so much information. But maybe you're on a web page and you tell your kids to do research. So one of the things is you click this, you teach them how to use Save to Google Drive. They can get all the components through, and they can then go through and edit out what they don't need. But it's a good research tool. Then they can make a research folder to put that information into. Really super easy to use. And it saves us having to go to Google Drive, copying and pasting, go to Google Drive, open a doc, put it in there. This is a one-click. Extensions are made to make our lives easier. Okay, the next one. So this is my one that is an extension manager. It is called Extensity. And if I click on Extensity, you will see here are all the extensions that I have installed. So you can see that I have many extensions, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to turn one of them on. So the reason I have so many, I have a lot for assistive technology. I have a lot that I've tried, and I only use some now and then. So I don't need them all the time. So some I turn on and some I turn off, and I do it as I need them. So one of the ones I'm going to turn on right now is Beeline Reader. I'm just going to click on it right there. That will make it show back up in my list, and that's how you can turn them on. You can turn them on and turn them off that way. That's why I like an extension manager instead of coming over here, right-clicking, manage my extensions. It takes me out to my extensions. I can turn it on, turn it off. It tells me what, this does give me more information, absolutely. But for me, this is much easier to click on it, to just turn it on, turn it off. Because Beeline Reader can get very annoying, and you'll see why in a few minutes. But it is one of the ones I like. So that's an extension manager. There are lots of them. You don't have to use this one. This is the one that I like. You do have settings that you can go through, and you can kind of change your options. So right now, my options are sorted by apps and extensions, and I also have a header at the top. I think you can change it by profile. You can have a work profile and a home profile if you'd like, which is nice, I guess. I don't really need that difference, so that's closed. You can also search for extensions when you come in. Like if you can't remember the whole name but only can remember a little bit of it, you can totally come in and look through it that way. And I think somewhere in there is an option to have it linked by alphabetical order. So this is another one. If I go into extensions, I can look this way. So that might be the only option now, is to have them in alphabetical order, which I do like, so that's okay. Very simple to use. I think it's an extension manager, if you have a lot of extensions, is a nice component to have. So the next one is called One Tab, and there's another one also called Tab Cloud. I'm going to click on One Tab. This one is not so exciting when you only have a few things open, so hold on. I'm going to open a few more tabs up so you can see the actual functionality of how this works. So now I have lots of tabs. So I might want to just condense everything down, or I have my students do research, and when they're researching from Google, I teach them, instead of just click on it, I teach them to right-click on a link, and when they right-click, open in a new window, or open in a new tab. So students could do research just looking for research sites, and instead of going into them and diving into the first 3 they find, finding 10, having them all, and then when they're all done, they click One Tab. They all condense into one tab. You can see that right there. So these are all clickable links. So if I click right here, you can see it will open a new tab, which is really awesome. I'm going to just condense that back down into there. So I'm going to just delete this one because I do not need to have that tab. So here's my components that I have. I can click on it here to get rid of one since I had a double. I'm going to get rid of my double. And then I have some more options. I can restore them. They'll all go back out. I also can do these couple of cool things. I can name this tab. So this could be my July 3rd tab set. Well, I could name it if I stayed in the box. It said name July 3rd. And then there was a few more options in there. I can lock this tab set. So the reason for locking them is that students can lock them and they can't be deleted. So they can always be restored. And then I can close this out, and don't freak out because they will all come back. And when I come back in and I pop back up and I hit one tab, they're going to pop right back in. And you notice there's my July 3rd tab set. So what's really nice about that, and when you think about that concept and how to use that, is that when you're using it that way, what you get is students can create a tab set for every subject. They could have a science set, they can have a math set. These would be the pieces they go to all the time, and all they have to do is just click on it. It will take them to the set. They could delete them, but what you're doing is you're giving them a tab set that they can use over and over again. There was, you can also star a set. You can unlock this tab set. So if you wanted to edit it, the students could edit it. They could come in. They can use this for research. So if they were doing cheetah research, they could research cheetahs. They could get their whole set of tabs up. They can name the set Cheetah Research, and then they can lock it. So they have all their research sites right there that they can use. It's a huge component. It is a really awesome way to use this. I'm going to restore these as well, so I have both sets going at the same time. Okay. Pretty simple to use. I think that's one of my favorite. Tab Cloud does the same exact thing. I really say if there's a couple I couldn't live without, that would be it. You did notice that I have ad blocker over here. And when we went to CNN, one of the issues that I have with going to many websites is that they are so ad heavy that they just really bog down my computer. So I have started to use an ad blocker, much to certain websites' chagrin. So I am going to go out. I'm just going to close a few tabs because now I've set my computer on fire. It's angry with me. So stop for just a second. I'll be right back. Yeah. Pause sharing will freeze the participant view until you remain. Thank you. You know that. My computer just totally mucked up. Okay. Hi there. Totally back. So I'm going to come back down here. I'm going to show you what. This is CNN. And if I come over here, you can see that I have 18 ads blocked on CNN. And you can also see Beeline Reader. So this is Ad Blocker Pro that I use. There's also Ad Blocker for YouTube, which we're going to go to in just a minute. But Ad Blocker Pro blocks a lot of the YouTube, blocks all of the ads that will pop up when you are using it with a student, which can be really appropriate to get rid of them. But you will notice that they also, the first time I came into CNN to read this article, it gave me a statement that it looks like you're using an ad blocker. So what you can do is you can whitelist the site in, and then it will not block all those ads. The trick is that I want those ads blocked so I can read them a little easier. So that's Ad Blocker Pro. So what you're seeing here, this color-coded, this is Beeline Reader. So if you notice, this goes from dark blue to a lighter blue over here to blue to black to the next line to red. So this allows me to read through components, anything really, any text, and allows me to track across lines. This is a great tool for special ed, great tool for any student who has a visual impairment. It's a fantastic tool for them to use. So that is Beeline Reader. It does cost money now, so I just want you to be alerted to that. Let's go to YouTube, and I'm going to show you YouTube Blocker, youtube.com. So once you go out to YouTube, you will watch my Ad Blocker Pro starts to grab them. So, excuse me, Ad Block, I think it's Ad Block Plus, not Ad Block Pro. So when I click on any one of these, if I go to watch this, there are no ads popping up.
And I'm wondering if you can help.
So that is fantastic. It blocks 6 ads. So you don't get any of the ads here in the YouTube video at all. They just disappear. That is fantastic for students to have. It's fantastic for teachers to have because you don't get inappropriate ads popping up. So the next one is Ginger, and I think I'm actually not going to use this one. Ginger is along the lines of Grammarly, but Ginger has just started to cost money. It's probably going to be one that I'm going to remove. Ginger is along the lines of Grammarly, but it has a homophone checker, which is why I always used it, and it works within Google Forms, which is not anything. Google Forms does not have a spell check right now, and I need a spell check at all times. So that's why I was using it. It does pick up homophones. So that's not my problem, but it is my husband's problem. He does not know there, 1, 1, or 1. So I typically like to put that on his computer that he's using because it will pick up those components. It is now a paid subscription. I may end up buying it, but just know that some of these ones that start off as free do end up having to be, having a cost to them. The next one is Save to Keep, which is a huge. Keep is one of my favorite tools that's out there. So you notice I just clicked on it and it says, okay, you want to save this. What do you want to be? This is I'm just going to give it a title, Extensions, and I'm going to say Rework for Johnstown's Google Summit in August. So, oh, not in August. That's why I need spell check. In August. So, and I'm just going to save it. It automatically goes to my Google Keep. So I can be out doing something anywhere, save to Google Keep. And when I come in here, if you haven't used Google Keep before, this may be one of your favorite tools by the end of the summer. So here's the link, and here's my note to myself so that I can rework this so I can rework it. It's just a note to myself. It's a way for me to save articles. You can save anything in Google Keep, but the Google Keep extension allows me to do it from the web. So if I find a website that I really like, I can just click on it and I can label it up and it'll have what I want. So the next one that I'm going to show you is called Keep Awake, and this is Keep Awake right here. So Keep Awake has 3 components to it. I want to show you what it looks like. So we are going to go into Keep Awake. We're going to click on it. It will take me into my extensions so you can see what it looks like. Keep Awake is an override the system power saving settings. It is a tool that I use all the time when I train because I may be training on a school district specific device and they may have their devices set to go to sleep in like 2 minutes. Keep Awake allows me to override those system preferences for that device. So the reason I like this is because if you are using Chromebooks with students and what has happened is that your Google admin has set it so that after so much inactivity, they go to sleep. And what happens when they go to sleep is that your students have to log back into them. So if you have students log into them, and then you give them instructions or you do a mini lesson or you're kind of modeling what they need to do, and then they go to use them, they will have gone to sleep and students will have to log back into them. That is a loss of instructional time. So what you can use this Keep Awake component. It has 3 different modes, which is very easy. I love it. It has here's the icons, so it tells you what they are. They have a screen kept on and the system is prevented from sleeping. So right now it will go into sleep and this screen will be kept on, as in it will not sleep. And then you have a sleep mode. The system will stay awake. That means it is not going to sleep. It's going to remain on. So I think this is a nice component for teachers to use with their students. I use it all the time when I'm presenting, so I'm not getting stuck with a device going to sleep on me. I can override those district power settings with this extension for the browser in Chrome. It's a really simple one. The next one, functions within Google, and this is called G Suite Training. I think this is a must for any district that is going to use Google with staff or with students, because what it is, it's like on the side, on-demand training. So you notice I clicked on it. When you install it, this one will install right to your Google account. And it goes into Google because it works within Google. It does not work anywhere else. It's the only one that doesn't have, the extension does not come up here. It comes down into Google. So let's say I'm in Slides, which is where I am right now, and I want to say Transitions, because maybe I don't remember how to do transitions. So I'm going to click Transitions, and it says I want to adjust slide transitions. It comes down here.
Slides transitions are animations that occur when you are presenting and moving between slides.
So basically, it's a tutorial for you, and if I let it play the rest of the way,
by making it more visually appealing. To adjust the transition that occurs when displaying a particular slide, you first select the slide.
So, see what it did? It showed me what I have to do.
Then click on the slide menu.
And it stops. It's an overlay to what you're already doing, and it's basically PD as you need it. Yes, I do want to stop the lesson. So it's just personalized PD to what you need, specific within Google. Makes it very easy for teachers to get what they need as they need it without having to call someone. So basically, not only teachers, but students, it makes them self-sufficient, and it builds independence. So I think that is a huge component. All right, the next one is print-friendly in PDF. Usually when I take teachers to this is the one that they get all excited about because This is the one for them that is like, wow, social studies teachers love this. So I'm going to go to the same article we used before. I'm going to come down into CNN if I can find it again, because of course, no, I can't. I wanted that one that was hardworking women did. Oh, right there. So we're going to click here, face more risk for this disease. And you notice that when we sent this to Google Drive, it was a little funky, right? It had 22 pages. So I'm going to click this icon right here. This is called Print Friendly in PDF. It is going to make a document that is easier for me to print, hence the name Print Friendly, and it's going to strip out pictures. So you notice not only do I have Print Friendly PDF going, I've got Beeline Reader going. If I went back into the document that I put in my Google Drive, it was 22 pages long. This is not 22 pages long. And as a teacher, I have the ability to go in and say, okay, I want to get rid of the highlights, so I can just delete that, but maybe there's a component in the article that you do not want in there. So maybe this right here, we can get rid of that component. I don't need to follow certain things. All I have to do is just click PDF. It will download my PDF. I tell it where to go. This automatically goes to my desktop because that's what I set it up for. And it also goes into my download file. So my download folder on my computer, whatever that may be, that is a Control-J to find what that is. I'm going to save it, and I get a PDF that downloads. And so this is what it looks like, just a regular PDF. Because I had Beeline Reader on, I get the three different colors, and you notice it is 2 pages long instead of 22 pages long. I use this all the time when I am trying to save documents for trainings. I can also email them. My other thing that I can do is I can also change the text size. If you have a student with visual acuity issues, this is the way to do it. I can take my pictures down to 0 if I had some, but you can have them whatever you need. If you've made a mistake and you want to put something back in, you just unclick the undo and it goes back to the original format. So that's Print Friendly in PDF. Everyone really, really likes that. Screencastify is the next one that I use a lot. It allows me to record anything, so I'm going to just activate it. Screencastify is tied to your Google account. So this is in. It says I'm not signed in. So all I need to do is sign in. I'm going to sign in with my regular Google account. I'll say which one do you want to sign in with. If this is the account. So here's my Screencastify. It says, what do you want to do? All I have to do is push the button again. This allows me to do screen recordings. You get 50 free videos a month. It does not cost very much to purchase. So I can set up the microphone access. Now, I cannot do this while I'm using my camera already, so I can't go through this process. But what it does is it saves all of your Screencastifies into your Google folder right here. So into your drive, you get a Screencastify, and there they are. So they're screenshots. So think about this with students. You can sign them up to do this. They can record themselves. They'll have it. Snagit is another way that does this. And it also gives, I can have, you notice right here, a video of myself. So if you want to show something to students, this is a way to do that. And all you have to do is then upload it to wherever you want it to be. And that's typically what I do. I take these and upload them to YouTube when I'm done with them. People ask for something, that's what I do. When they need a video recording of me doing it, I use Screencastify. My last one that I'm going to show you today is called Tab Scissors and Tab Glue. So this has become a favorite of mine. Thank you to Casey Bell. She talked about it. So scissors, just like it sounds, it cuts, and glue puts back together. So they are 2 separate extensions. You can see them right here. Tab Scissors will, whatever tab I'm on, will put it to the right side, and so it's taken my tabs and has cut them apart. And if I click Tab Glue, straight down, it will be right here. They will go back together. There are many times that I do not work at my desk, so I do not have 2 screens. This allows me to very quickly push a button and get a side-by-side. I always think about teachers working from Google Classroom to whatever student management system they're in. You can work in both at the same time, and you can look at both at the same time without having to go back and forth between the 2 different without going back from window to window to window to window. This gives you the two side by side, which is excellent. It doesn't function as nicely on a Chromebook. It does work on a Chromebook, but the problem is if you have a very small screen on your Chromebook, it's tiny. So you just think through that process, but I think it's a great thing for students to use as they are researching, have the ability to look at one screen and type on another. So that, my friends, is really the end of the extensions that I'm going to go through today as I pop you back in here. One thing that I would like to always say is to think about where to start with a list. So where to start is use somebody else's list. Like I said, that's what I do. Shake Up Learning, if I click out to this one, she has a great database of extensions and apps. They are mixed up. You do have to kind of work your way through them. She has a curated list. Use someone else's curated list because it just makes life so much easier. So she had 150 and now she has 160. And where did they go? So if you just click on them right here, they will take you, it's also at the bottom of the post if I had read that a little better. It will take you to it in their little boxes unless she has redone it in the last couple days. They are right. Where did they go? It's in here somewhere. I'll find it. And when you go in, you can click on them and you can really see where you're going. And that is awesome right here. So she started with 100, and now she's up to 160. So that's a really great list to kind of use. It's a simple way to use someone else's list to make sure that you're getting the best things out there. And really just listen to your peers. What are they using? What do they need? So that's it for extensions. This will be uploaded into the Google Classroom. And I can't wait to see some of the things you would use with your students, especially if there's new ones that you're looking for. That's great. Remember, you can always contact me by email, and we can jump into a WebEx, and we can have a quick conversation if you're having any questions. So I hope you guys, this is a great session, and I will talk to you soon. See you later. Have a great day. Ooh, I went long. 47 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. Bond, you are long-winded. It's done. Another one done. Still recording. That's funny.